this crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Jargon.
Man, I'm here with my man with Hoop Jargon, the best in the game, man. And you know I only let selected few in my circle. And this is the real dude right here. We gonna get down with the get down.
What up, everybody? Hoop Jargon back, man. And you know, let me turn this music down a little bit. Let me set the mood right. Yeah, let's put it on a little low setting. Man, thank y'all for coming in for this special Saturday edition to the show, man. And I mean, can I just can Hoop Jargon get his flowers? Did I not walk y'all down how Golden State was gonna win this series? Did I not let y'all know they was gonna win in 6 games? Right? Did I not tell you Nick Wright's logic made absolutely no sense? And again, look at my videos. I put about 4. This is number 3 in the series of Nick Wright saying the Golden State Warriors offense was overrated. So let me, you know what? I don't even want to do it like that. Let me start in the right way. Let me give congratulations to the Golden State Warriors, man. Great series. It just was a good testament of the greatness of Stephen Curry. And not only just Stephen Curry, the rest of his team. Now, I'm going to go over a video. Again, it might get stricken down. Every video I do with Fox Sports, they get stricken down. So let me put my marquee on here, man. Again, if y'all like what's going on over here, y'all can support the channel on that bottom. Y'all get the cash app. Y'all can super chat. All those things are welcome, man, over here. But again, congratulations to the Golden State Warriors, man. And I'm going to open the panel up on this one, y'all, because I walked y'all down smooth on this one. I told y'all how this series is going to play out. I told you it's going to be a team effort. Shout out to Ian Kidd in the building, man. Great podcast, man. Y'all go subscribe to them brothers, man. Ian Kidd podcast, man. Rap God Reload in the building says straight ether. You know what time it is, man. Ian Kidd also says Dub Nation, man. Congrats to y'all. Again, Steph leveled up, absolutely, man. Shout out to Jazz Simon on the Facebook side. But again, man, and the whole reason I'm doing this series is for you to understand that these guys on TV, they're there to do a job. And their job doesn't mean that they're proficient at the sport per se. Nick Wright is a herb, man. I can't keep you. I've laid it out, guys. I've laid it out on 4 different videos of why I believe he's a herb, of why what he says is not succinct. If you want to learn basketball from guys who know the game. And when all the guy brings up is numbers and narrative, you know he's talking around the subject. He's not talking about the actual game that is NBA basketball. He's trying to stay in the conversation, again, by talking around it. And that's what novice people do. And it's okay to be a novice. I mean, everybody doesn't have to be a professional at discussing basketball, but just know what you're listening to. Because I see a lot of people regurgitate things that Nick Wright says. And what he regurgitates is not based on actual basketball knowledge, at least not at a proficient level. I got to say that. And shout out to Primetime in the building says, good afternoon, brother. D, I love Jackson State University Tigers. Always, man. Always showing love to his Tigers, man. Salute to Primetime in the building. So, guys, we got to do this. And now, usually I play the video. I'm just going to play the audio. Because, again, YouTube be hating on the young brother. So, let me do a share screen with the overlay. And let's see if we can. I want to see what Nick Wright's rebuttal is after him just being wrong. And, guys, remember, when I walked him down, this is the same Nick Wright that said the Dallas Mavericks are going to beat the Warriors in 5 games. This is the same Nick Wright that said that the Celtics would beat the Warriors in 6, I believe he said. And Chris Broussard will lament on that to show how wrong he is. But his reasoning, he basically said the reason why, and I want to paraphrase, I want to go back to the old videos. Y'all can check the old videos. I laid it out very succinctly, man. I laid it all the way out. But what Nick Wright was asserting that Steph had to have his super stellar performance and Jordan Poole had to have performance, because his whole argument was Golden State would score enough points to win the series against Boston. And what I asserted every time, every stream, is that Golden State plays organically. Yes, Steph has to be at the head. I never party ways on that notion. But to think that other guys had to go for these gaudy numbers is just it's not true. So much so, let's check this out real quick. So here are the finals numbers for what ended this series. Steph Curry averaging 31 points a game. Very stellar. Very stellar. All respect given to Steph with his first finals MVP. Well deserved. Does not have another 20-point scorer on this roster. So all this stuff that Nick Wright was talking about, the guys had to have these explosive games and average these explosive numbers with him. Facts. I'm sorry. 100% fiction. Not true. Not true. Andrew Wiggins been a second leading scorer. Y'all raise your hands if y'all would have predicted that before this series. What I did say in my first video, in part one of this trio, was that expect guys like Andrew Wiggins to step up, which he did do. Klay Thompson putting up 17 points a game. Jordan Poole, who Nick Wright said had to be averaging around 20 and going off every game, averaging 13.2. Gary Payton, 7 points a game. And Draymond Green, again, this is why you can't go off numbers. Draymond Green overall played a solid series. Did he play a great series? No. Closeout game, a lights out closeout game. You couldn't ask for a better game from Draymond Green. But over the series, averaging 6, I believe 7 rebounds, 4 assists, some to that effect. Not a great gaudy assist game, but it was enough to win, and his defense was tantamount for them winning. So again, Nick Wright's one of his assertions was, oh, well, Draymond Green ain't scored over 10 points since 2015. Like, who gives a damn? That is not how Golden State is going to win a series off of Draymond Green scoring. They're going to win it playing organic basketball. So again, I don't eat to this dude. All these talking points he talked about are irrelevant. They won. Now, the one thing he's going to beat his chest about probably is Steph averaging 31 points. Because that's literally all Nick Wright says. Steph has to have the finals of his career. And I think from a closeout standpoint, that's true. Steph did do that. But all the other stuff he talked about, all the other minutiae, as it were, all erroneous. Because this man does not understand basketball. You hear me? This man does not understand basketball, man. Take that to the bank. All right, let's catch up on a few of these comments, man. Appreciate y'all. And I'm going to do this audio. So we're just going to see how he's going to try to pick his face up, man. Chris Burton pops in. Shout out to Chris Burton, man. Says it's about to get interesting. Absolutely. Man, he said, man, Skip Bayless is worse than Nick, man. Skip constantly brings up blips in the game where Steph didn't play as opposed to the game in its totality. Well, you know what? I'm going to walk down Skip on another one. Skip, I think enough people have got on Skip, so I'm going to let him be. But Nick Wright is kind of the new guy, and a lot of people give him credit that he don't deserve, in my opinion. So I got to do it, man. I got to do it. Nick Wright is a hater. I wouldn't say he's a hater. He's just misinformed. Nick Wright, and again, man, everything Nick Wright does is in a roundabout fashion to elevate LeBron James. Clear out, clear cut, no question. So all of his takes are a derivative of a way to, on the back end, build up LeBron James. Every time. Every time. That's all he is. So when I see him talk, I know what he's posturing towards. And that's why I just have disdain for him, because I know what he's doing. And again, I told y'all, he's going to be bored during this offseason, and watch him start to. So he's going to go into his nerd cave. He's going to start putting up numbers with Steph and LeBron, because right now people are starting to do the Steph Curry has a better legacy than LeBron because he stayed with one team narrative. And again, that's all he knows is narrative. So he's going to try to spend this whole summer to debunk this narrative. I told you this first. Watch him. Watch him. This dude is predictable, man. All right, so Josh Fuller also says in Game 7, 26, Draymond Green shot well and they lost. Offense can't run through Dre. He's a glue guy. Tayshaun Prince, anybody? Dennis Rodman, anybody? You need Rick Fox, anybody? These guys are integral parts of winning, but they should not be leading what you're doing on the court, because if they are, that means your go-to guys are not doing what they're supposed to do, and that spells for danger. Nick Wright, P. Rose in the building says, Nick Wright be saying the most ignorant shit. He does, and it's ignorant in the true definition of ignorance, which is lack of knowledge. So some people say ignorant when people say stuff that you don't like. Oh, you've been ignorant. I say that's ignorant. Ignorant is a practice of lack of knowledge. That's what true ignorance is, and that's what Nick Wright is. Yes, because he does not know basketball like that. So I don't know in what context you meant it, but that comment is absolutely correct. Primetime says, if not LeBron James, ESPN, Nick thinks he's right all the time. Great year for the Warriors. Well, you know what? I don't blame him for thinking he's right. I mean, I think if you're a sports commentator and you think highly of your opinion, then you should think you're right. I have no problem with that. I just don't like his logic. Nick Wright's logic is garbage. It's garbage. Like, again, he's a herb in my opinion. He's a dude that got no business speaking on basketball like that. Rap Guy says 2016 Warriors lost because they had no rim protection. Yeah, that and plus Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes played like ass, if we remember things in context. And Wiggins was such the opposite of Harrison Barnes offensively. Now, defensively, Harrison Barnes did his thing. Offensively, Harrison Barnes gave you nothing. And Andrew Wiggins just was everything that he was not, in my opinion. Draymond haters are delusional based on their arguments on stats. Why he keeps getting all this scrutiny? Well, because stats. Again, the average hoop fan only knows basketball through statistics. They don't know it off of actual evaluation. So, yeah, you got to base it on something. And the easiest thing to do is what? Pull up basketballreference.com, look up some stats, and make a storyline, i.e. Nick Wright. That's how he built his platform off that premise. So, yeah, it's something everybody can do. That's why he doesn't impress me. SB Sports Talk in the building, man. Shout out to SB Sports Talks in the building. SB Talk Sports, sorry. Oh, man, SB, I ain't seen you on the channel in a minute. I see you on flights all the time. Great to have you, brother. You say salute hoop in the chat. Salute back, bro. Rap God say, yeah. Nick Wright is 38 years of age. Yeah, he's the same age as me. So, again, I know a herb when I see a herb. I know a dude who don't know basketball because he's my peer. We're the same age. So, if you sat down and really talk some basketball, Nick Wright, he got nothing to give you. He can give you a narrative. He can give you storylines. He's good at that. He probably was a damn a journalist major. I wouldn't be surprised because he's really good at that. Nick Wright would be good if he only wrote articles. He would be just as good as he is right now because he's very good in that art of understanding how people associate things. But when you get to the minutia of what basketball really is, he got nothing. And that's why Chris Broussard destroys him all the time on the show. Goes in the building, says Draymond or Dennis Rodman. Ooh, great question. Depending on what my team needed. If they needed some de facto facilitation, I'm going Draymond. If they just needed a straight up hard worker, hard-nosed, blue-collar guy, I'm going Rodman. Great question. He was a competitive food eater. That's funny. So now let me go to the audio, man, because I want to see how he's going to try to redeem himself after he got that ether work over here. If you guys are new, I see with 13 deep, y'all hit that like button, please. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Let's get these likes up, man. It's going to get us more people in here so Nick Wright can get this work as he properly deserves, or as my guy DJ would say, as he deservedly needs. All right, so let me play this audio real quick because I'm going to do my share screen because, again, Fox does not like when I share their content. You know, I'm helping their program out. But, you know, whatever. It ain't my stuff, so I got to be respectful to what they have. So we're going to try to put an overlay on this go round. Let's see if that affects anything. Let's see. Josh says, do you have expectations for Golden State Warriors next season? Yeah, I expect them to be right back where they are because James Wiseman's coming back. So you got a legit big man potentially coming right down the pipeline. So, yeah, I expect them to be right back in the mix. Yes, I do. All right, so let me walk this down and let's see what Nick Wright has to say about being wrong about the Dallas Mavericks series, saying the Mavericks are winning 5. Saying that Jordan Poole had to score 27 points a game for them to beat the Mavericks. Poole averaged 14 points a game, and they beat the Mavericks in 5 games in the gentleman's sweep. After Nick Wright said that basically the same thing. Steph Curry had to play out his mind. Clay had to play out his mind. And Jordan Poole had to play out his mind. And Jordan Poole averaged, 16 points a game this series? So the infinite wisdom of your boy Nick Wright. Let's see what he has to say. After all this, the standard of Hall of Fame is terribly low. Well, yeah, it moves. It moves. I agree with that. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and see what Nick Wright has to say for himself.
Was thrice disqualified from the race and allowed to re-enter. Chris Broussard declared the Suns an unbeatable juggernaut. They didn't get out of round 2. He also declared the Nets were going.
So it seems like he's coming out trying to balance out him being wrong by getting on Chris Broussard. If you can't see in the graphic, well, let me take the overlay off real quick. Chris Broussard has his glasses on. He got his Thug Life glasses on, saying like, "I told you so." Let me. So you can kind of see right there, Chris Broussard's kind of trolling right now. So now he's coming in with that nerd boy energy, trying to like, well, you were wrong too. Nah, bro, you was the one that was wrong, and you're gonna get this work. Steph Curry has been polarized most of his career. Absolutely.
Going to beat the Celtics. They didn't get out of round one. He then was in on Milwaukee a bit for briefly, and then out once Middleton went out. No. And once we were down, pre-Middleton going out. Yes.
And I want to say the marquee on the bottom says, how much should Nick regret flipping his final picks to the Celtics?
Yes. And then once we were down to 4 teams, he begrudgingly was like, I guess I'll go with the Warriors. And now he's got his Ray Charles on, acting like he was 10 toes down all year. He's been 10 toes down for 10 days. Now, with that said, yes, I have regrets.
Thank you, Nick Wright. Thank you for admitting your bullshit-ass predictions and your bullshit-ass logic. I'll let you continue, sir.
I made some errors here, and I went against my own nature, which is to be obstinate and honorary, even in the face of potentially being wrong. I had said Warriors in 6 because Steph was going to be the best player on the court. The Celtics were going to turn the ball over too much, and I didn't trust them in clutch time. And all of that happened, and yet I'm wrong because I flip-flopped. So of course I have regrets. And the fact that I have to look at Chris Broussard's stupid face.
You know what? I didn't see where he said this because I covered. Y'all go back and chronicle my old videos. I chronicled what his first opinion was. I didn't see when he picked the Warriors. All I saw was Celtics, and he said he didn't mention anything about Celtics turnover. So I'm curious of when that was because they're acknowledging the fact that he did flip-flop. So I didn't see his original one. So I need to go back and look at that. But that's interesting. Those are his reasons. And those generally were the reasons why the Warriors won the championship. That's for sure.
And perfectly manicured goatee with that little smirk on it makes it all the worse. So, yeah, I don't know how we're going to fill the rest of this segment. Yes, how much should Nick regret? A lot. You know how much I should regret? Take the amount of money I lost gambling on this series, multiply it by 10 emotion points. That's the amount of regret. What are we quantifying my regret? I don't know how to do it. It's a lot.
You know how to do it. You're the perfect numbers guy. When it comes to numbers, that's you. You know how to do it. Sit down in your little nerd lab you do and hit the square root in the Pythagorean theorem and come up with the actual numbers of how much you regret your horrible pick.
It's a lot of regret, Brew. Take those sunglasses off. Right, that is Wild's bit. You're a thief.
First of all, it's my bit now. All right, I've taken it from Wild. It's my bit now.
Damn.
Secondly, the degree of revisionist history you just kicked is incredible. All right.
So I want to see him break that down. Let me get some of y'all comments. I know y'all, we 15 deep in here. Y'all hit the like button, please. Hit the subscribe button if you're not done so already. Nick Burton said out here sound like Daniel Bryan. Damn. SB also says well deserved by Steph and getting close to being top 10. Yeah, I got Steph around 15 to 20, which is no disrespect. Like people see. Here's the thing. Speaking of revisionist history, when and I gotta give Skip Bayless just for coining this phrase, dog. People are prisoners of the moment, man. Listen, man. Steph did his thing, but if Steph wasn't in your top 10 category before he won 2 days ago, he shouldn't be in it today. Because one championship does not sway it that much. It doesn't swing it that much. When you consider with the guys who are in that pantheon, which is top 10, what they've done too. You can't use recency bias to elevate people. You got to let time play out, let the emotionality play out, and then you evaluate. Because, like, I'm the biggest Kobe fan that probably ever existed. I got Kobe at like 11. 11, 12 is probably where Kobe belongs. So people got Kobe like when he died, I had him like 3. I'm like, hell no. No. Again, I'm the biggest Kobe fan ever, bro. Like, but I don't use my emotionality to elevate people just because I'm feeling something because something happened. Tyrone Jones said people saying Curry is top 10 is blasphemy. That's blasphemy, man. Yeah. Curry got a lot more to do, and he doesn't play anything on the defensive end. He tries, but nah, man. Too deficient on the defensive end to elevate him. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going. Rap God says next week Nick Wrong, LeShannon, first take gonna talk about Lakers and LeBron. Oh, you already know what time it is. And see, I haven't been watching LeShannon because LeShannon, again, he's a LeBronite as well. His lower statement is LeBron James as well. And so he's doing the KD thing. He's going a different route. He's using the Warriors. I've been kind of seeing the headlines now. I didn't look at the videos because I can't stand when when LeShannon gets so LeBron centric, like it's unwatchable to me. But it seems like he's going the other way of trying to take down KD by virtue of Steph's success to elevate LeBron. You got to watch these dudes, man. Primetime says everybody's on YouTube wanting to trade for Melo and Mills and Green. Wise, what do you think? Trade Melo and Mills for Green and Wiseman. Well, they can want that. Charlotte would be a damn fool to get rid of LaMelo, so I don't see that happening. Whatsoever, rather. I picked the Celtics too, only because they had a better defense. Yeah, they did. My whole logic was Golden State had more savvy. Golden State had the know-how to win in these situations, and that matters in the finals. That matters. SB also says, Nick, take that L. Hey, man, we all take L's, man. Nobody bats 1,000. Rap Guy says, I picked the Warriors because of experience. There you go. Same here, bro. You got him 15. I think that's fair. Again, I got him about 15 to 20 range. I think when it all shakes out, he'll probably be around 12. I don't think these are bad predictions, even though they might not be exactly mine. But all right, let's get back to the video, and I'll get back in your comments.
All right, I did pick Brooklyn, but after that series, I was all in on the Celtics in the East. And you mocked
What
me
about
for
the
it.
Suns?
You said, you thought Brooklyn was so good that all of a sudden you're in love with Boston? And I stuck with them when they went down 3-2, 10 toes down, as Jenna knows. They beat Milwaukee. You mocked me for that. They ended up proving me right. Same thing against Miami. You picked Miami. So I was rocking with the Celtics. In the West, now look, unlike some people, I don't like flip-flopping. So I had come on here when I was concerned, and this is the truth. Whether America believes we're not, this is the truth. They know I'm a man of integrity. I didn't think Golden State was going to be healthy. Draymond Green was out late in the season. Who knew if he'd be back? Clay, you didn't know what he'd be like when he come back.
I mean, Golden State's had problems with injuries. I don't think this is a bad take. I don't think it's a bad take. They've had problems with injuries. So, I mean, this is actually their first healthy, except 2015, first all the way healthy finals trip. So, yeah, I don't think that's a bad take at all.
No, Nick, I did like Golden State early in the year or midway through the year.
You called
but they
the
looked like they weren't
Suns
going to be healthy.
unbeatable.
So I went.
That's bad right there. All right, I'm with Nick on that one. That's a bad take, bro.
With the Suns, because I thought I didn't think anybody else could mess with them, and they did lose to Dallas, so I'll give you that. But that's why I stuck with the Suns, because I don't like flip flopping. All right, to each his own. Some love flip flopping. I won't name names, but some like it. I don't. So once the Suns were out, I was like, I know I can go with my heart now, and it's the Warriors. And so the Warriors, lesson learned. Twan, I told Nick this earlier. His posture going forward when we make predictions should be to wait in the meeting and see what I predict and then agree.
I think that's great advice for Nick Wright. Nick Wright, I'm sorry. If LeBron James is not a part of the equation, there's nothing he adds to value, man. I don't see it. He makes a good provocateur of LeBron James' storyline because he gets very grandiose. And I can pull up videos of Nick Wrong being totally wrong on his takes, in particular against the Warriors in Cleveland. It's like a montage of him just being wrong. And again, I don't assert that anybody's perfect because it's impossible to bat 1,000. It's impossible. But the logic is what I attack. And this dude logic is not based on basketball. It's based on narrative. And I don't do that. We don't do that over here, man. Josh says, what I put Kerr as far as a coaching standpoint. I think Coach Kerr did a great job, actually. If y'all remember game 1, he lost that game because when in the fourth quarter they were up 12 You had Jordan Poole out there, and Jordan Poole, slowly but surely, I don't like him. He reminds me of Jordan Clarkson. And by that, I mean a guy who does not think basketball, a guy who reacts basketball. And that's cool to have those guys on your team because you need that frenetic energy. But, you know, the debate was for a long minute, oh, is he going to step in and replace Clay? If I'm Bob Lakem or whatever, the dude who runs the I forget his name, there's no way in hell I'm getting rid of Klay Thompson for him. Because that calming, know what I'm going to get from a guy every day, aura that Klay brings. And Klay had a pretty pedestrian series, if we're being honest. In particular, game 5. Good Lord. How is a guy who's a pinpoint shooter can't throw a goddamn rock in the ocean? But Klay still plays solid defense. Klay doesn't lose you games. In my opinion, Jordan Poole can lose you games because he has a very bad feel for pace. Because he just knows go, go, go. And you know what? I gotta throw Klay into this too. I don't know who taught them layups, what JV layup package they got. That they need to upgrade them layup packages, man. It felt like every other drive they trying to go in with that left hand scoop layup, and that shit was getting thrown to oblivion. Like I don't know what that was all about. So I would definitely advise both of them to upgrade their layup packages. That was embarrassing. Because you know what, Klay tries to use body a little bit because he can't elevate. Jordan Poole just goes straight up and he just gets his shit thrown. He need to learn how to use his body to create contact, separate, then finish. That's one of the big things I saw with Jordan Poole need to upgrade his game. One of the things, which is defense, also, which is pace, which is patience as well, man. Like he thinks he's Steph, and as far as shooting shots early in the shot clock that aren't quite there, and that does disturb me with Jordan Poole's sensibility. But Kerr, I think to answer your question, I think he did a good job with adjusting and adapting. So again, we lost him game 1. I thought in game 6 when the Celtics came back right before the second half ended, when he took Poole back out and let Steph finish the quarter out, the half out. He knew that was an important time, and we called it bringing your IQ lineup back out, and that's what stopped Boston from having a big run to perhaps cut the game down to 6 or 5 because they were down like 12, I believe. They kept cutting down to like 9 and 8. So I thought him bringing Steph Curry back in was a great move, a great cerebral move as a coach. So I give Kerr a lot of credit for that because that's what lost him essentially game 1 with leaving that same lineup out there and just letting himself correct like Phil Jackson used to do all the time. Phil Jackson was not a big substitution correct guy. He just let them work it out. So I got to say that. So overall, I think, man, he's done a bang-up job. I think him inheriting Mark Jackson's team and putting Draymond Green as a starting power forward / point forward, I thought that was a brilliant idea. I thought him taking Luke Walton's advice as an assistant. Well, I think it's another assistant, maybe, and I think they passed it to Luke Walton. Luke Walton passed it to Coach Kerr to start that Hampton 5 lineup in the finals in 2015. I think that was, those are indicative of a good head coach. You got to be able to listen to people under you. You have to be able to change and live with the results. So I think the Warriors in good hands going forward, and they have been in good hands with Steve Kerr. Primetime says, what if the Warriors win back-to-back LBJ in the NSPL? Foxes aren't going to be crazy. Yeah, they will. They will. Bob Meyer, sorry. Poole has too much green light. Yeah, he is. And you know what? Guys like that, you kind of got to let them be them. But I think Kerr did a good job because every series in the playoffs, his minutes got more and more restricted. And that's smart. A guy like that, it's really hard to rein him in. Again, he reminds me of Jordan Clarkson. You got to let Jordan Clarkson be Jordan Clarkson, but you can't overplay him because when you play him too much, that's too much time on the floor, and they got too much time to make bad decisions. So I thought Kerr taking his minutes down every series was very smart on his part, very shrewd. Rap God also says Tatum is terrible. Yes, he does. If Tatum cannot do a freaking Euro step finish, oh my God. Good luck with that ball getting the hole, man. Boys got 64. Yeah, straight up. They need to do whatever they need to do to keep GP2. Yeah, I don't think it'd be hard to keep him unless somebody wants to overpay him. But I think he's comfortable in the Bay. That's where his dad's from. Are Celtics fans racist? Oh, yeah, they always been. Ain't nothing new. Boston is one of the most racist places in the world. Alvin Gentry also is essential. Yeah, great assistance from Alvin Gentry, man. All right, so let's continue this. And I'm going to stop it, and I want to open the panel, man. If y'all want to hop on, man, let me drop the link now. y'all want to say y'all's piece about what's going on or what has gone on, I would love to hear y'all opinion. So we 15 deep. Make sure y'all hit that like. 17 deep. I stand corrected. Y'all hit that like button if we're not done so already, please. Uh-oh. All right. What the hell? There we go. Man, some dictionary button came up and they trying to get me out in these YouTube streets, man. All right, so there's a link. Let me do a little bit more of this video and then we can discuss if you like, and we can go from there.
And then he won't have days like this on national TV, Twan.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Yeah, I was a little
That's
upset,
facts.
Chris. I was a little upset too, Chris, when Nick jumped on the bandwagon and came on my side. I knew something was gonna go wrong once I saw Nick coming on my side of the fence. But
And this is Antoine Walker speaking, man. Shout out to Antoine Walker, man, with the shimmy. Antoine Walker with the shimmy.
Oh, I'm getting
But no,
blamed
but-
by Antoine.
but that's- but no, that's my guy. No, but I have to, Chris. Like I said before, congratulations on your prediction. You have all the right to wear your sunglasses and enjoy this moment, because I honestly believe, and I have to say this, that I thought the Celtics was going to win in 6. I thought
No way. A former Celtic picking the Celtics. No way. Way to go out on a limb, Antoine Walker.
the Celtics were deeper. I thought the physicality was going to wear Golden State down. Instead, the Golden State others, and you guys hear me talk about this all the time, where I talk about the others, and Golden State others got better as the series went along. Andrew Wiggins obviously was outstanding. Jordan Poole got better. Gary Payton II coming back was huge for them. Otto Porter Jr., those guys were terrific.
What I tell y'all on my first stream, Otto Porter Jr., do not be surprised if he steps up and performs well. That's a great bench player. Again, I said akin to Leandro Barbosa, akin to Maurice Spates, akin to Sean Livingston. You need guys like this off the bench who are battle tested, who could probably start somewhere else to come and help your team in a championship effort. Did I not tell y'all that in the first video?
And played better than the Celtics others. And I got to give them a lot of credit. So, Chris, enjoy the moment. You got the champion right. I'm glad you didn't have to go to these charts. You know, every time you're usually right, you have to go to a chart. You didn't go to a chart. But
that's more Nick Wright, but yeah, that's pretty. I guess he does do that too.
Congratulations.
Twan is gracious. Thank you,
Nick.
Twan. Nick, that's how you handle things. Not with this revisionist history. Good. Thanks, Twan.
Go ahead, Wild.
This is I think Broussard literally went out and got my same sunglasses. That's how much of a bit it is of mine. Here's the most surprising thing why I don't think you should be upset about flip-flopping. We all knew that the Celtics were going to play great defense, and they did. The Warriors never scored over 108 points. They scored 103 last night.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. In this, especially this era of the NBA, to keep the score down, that kind of tripped me out too. When I looked at the finals tallies and totals. Man, the average point score. Let me go back to my phone where I had this information. Very good point, Wiles. I'll let him keep talking. I'll find that stat.
Like that should be enough to win. But in the Celtics losses, Nick, they scored 90, 94, 97, and 88. And part of me, we're a little close to it, but I think that we're probably going to misremember.
Let me go over these stats real quick. You know, I'm not a big stat guy, but I mean, for those who like stats, let me drop this information down for you. But for the actual finals, the Warriors averaged 104.8 points per game. Boston averaged 100.8, which means Boston played good defense. Warriors played better defense. One of the staple points I said why the Warriors would win this series because of their defense. Again, Nick Wright was saying that all these guys got to average all these points to make this number tall. Like, no, they don't. They have to play organic basketball and play defense, which they did. Thank you. Rebounds-wise, the Celtics won that battle, averaging 43.2 rebounds per game. Warriors averaging 41.7. Assists, big topic. Boston actually was better in sharing the ball. 25.3 assists, and the Warriors at 23.5. Now, I will say this, though. Boston played a lot of hero ball assists, and those are Westbrook assists, in my opinion, which aren't as proficient. And those led to what? A lot of turnovers. When you play hero ball and it's not running plays, you will turn the ball over. Ask Russell Westbrook about that. So those things do correlate, man. So, and that's why I say stats don't always tell the whole story, because on paper, Boston had more assists. But we all watched the series. They played a sloppier brand of basketball. So it's not the assist, it's the organic play. It's the way that your product is actually being presented, which leads to your success in a given game, let alone a series. So as far as steals, Golden State, they demolished them in this category. Golden State with 10.3 steals per game. Boston with 6.2 blocks. Boston, and hey, I got to give Robert Williams his flowers, man. That boy was rim protecting his ass off. He also was hitting that glass too, man. Very much unsung hero for the losers, which is Robert Williams, man. Shout out to him, man, from Texas A&M University, man. They stylized him as the next DeAndre Jordan, and although he may not be that, he did have some DeAndre Jordan-esque-ness in him, and shout out to him for that. Turnovers. So as bad as Boston turned the ball over, they only turned over 3 more times than Golden State. So they averaged 16.8. Golden State averaged 13.8. Field goal percentage. Golden State Warriors shot 44.6. Boston shot 43.5. 3-point percentage. Now, this is funny. As bad as Boston shot, they actually shot the 3 better than Golden State. They shot the 3 at a 40% clip. Golden State shot at 36% clip. And free throws, Golden State demolished them there at about 81% from the free throw line, and Boston was 75%. So that's how the series shook out from a nerd stat boy standpoint. So I did want to incorporate that into it since he mentioned about graphics and numbers. But as we see, stats don't always tell the story. And that's why I always say I don't rock with Nick Wright's logic, because the logic don't logic. Let me get a few of these comments before I get back in it. Let's see, man. Shout out to FYL Sports in the building, man. It says they scored 120. Let's see. He said facts. Okay, I don't know what point I was on. I was kind of in cook mode, but appreciate that. E-Black TV in the building says Celtics didn't have a deep enough bench. No, they didn't. They basically ran a 7-man NBA team. Now, I would say this, though. A lot of teams, when you get deep into the playoffs, they shorten their rotations down, so it's not uncanny to do that. Problem is they had the personnel for that. That was the problem. So we don't have the personnel. When you shorten your rotation up, you limit your options. It is what it is. That means you're very top heavy. Again, we're 18 deep in here. Man, y'all hit that like button, subscribe button. If you're feeling generous, hit that Cash App, $ C Franks 11, man. I appreciate y'all. And I notice you guys are getting on these streams more and more. I'm going to be more consistent. I really appreciate that, because basketball is something I respect a lot. Not only do I love basketball, I respect basketball. So I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm not going to give you fanboy takes over here. That's not how we do over here, man. I just want y'all to know that, man. I hope y'all appreciate that. All right, so Brown and Tatum, turnover machines, without the true floor general. Yeah, I like Kyle Lowry going over to them or something like that. I would love Lonzo going there, actually. Yeah, so because I think we know by now Marcus Smart probably needs to be the 6th man for that team. And he had a good series statistically. I think he averaged like 14, 6, and 5 or something to that effect. He had a good series statistically, but I think we all can see Marcus Smart is not the guy to curate that offense. It ain't Tatum yet. He got to tighten those handles up. He got to get a back down game and a goddamn layup package. Good Lord. With the Celtics squad, head coach had no final experience. Yeah, exactly. Ime Udoka's a first-year head coach. I expected that. He got to learn. Y'all be trying to put too much on people too early, man. That's why, again, I don't do that superstar shit. In my opinion, there are 7 superstars in the NBA, maybe 8. Let y'all tell it it's 20 of them. No, just because you're the best player on your team, you put up a 50-point performance does not make you a superstar. Jason Tatum is not a superstar. Ja Morant is not a superstar. I know I'm going to lose some of y'all with that. They're not. You got to let them earn their keep. And the way you earn your keep is losing and being battle tested. So I think in 2 years, Tatum will be a superstar, because he's going to remember this. All this Kobe Mamba energy he was trying to usurp, it didn't do nothing for that, because the basketball got a basketball. Damn all this other stuff you trying to do. All this taking the picture with the ball behind your head like Kobe did. Like, dude, I get it, man. Kobe's my favorite player of all time. I get it. I love Kobe, man. Like, cook food. Y'all can see my phone, my screensaver been Kobe since he passed. Listen, I get it. I get it. But you got to go put the work in, man. This series was really a guaranteed blowout. I wouldn't say that. Let's see. Joey says, facts. I feel like both didn't do too much. Both didn't show too much bench, in my opinion. Yep, there you go. Maya says I was betting the Celtics. Well, hope you didn't put no money towards that because it was a very much an uphill battle for them to win that. So yeah, hoping to take this as a learning experience. There we go. Celtics need a Lowry caliber. Yeah, they do. Because a lot of people like to dump on Kyle Lowry, but Kyle Lowry is a solid point guard. You know what you're going to get out of him. You know what you're going to get out of him. E-Black say text somebody. Man, my texts are going off, bro. I'm not even texting, but I just seen your text on me. I hit you up. All right, so yeah, so Celtics need somebody to right that ship. And so let's land the plane real quick. Let's finish up with Wiles, and then again, man, if y'all want to hop on a panel, if y'all want to discuss this, y'all can. It's all to the G. Analysts need to stop comparing young players to Kobe when they haven't earned it. Yeah, or stop comparing them to the best in the game. Like, dude, you got to earn the right to be a superstar. You got to earn the right to be legendary. Stop giving dudes, just because recency bias, everybody wants to give people this, well, he's the best since. No, he's not. He's him. Appreciate who he is. Just like with Russ and Oscar Robertson. Listen, man, I understand the similarities, but Oscar Robertson's the champion. Russell Westbrook ain't figured this shit out yet. Come on, man. Let's be for real here. CMI says Rockets have more faith in Jeremy Lin and Kyle Lowry. They did. Yes, they did. They had Jeremy Lin, your boy Dragic, then Lowry. Lowry was third string on that team, and Lowry was the best point guard of them three. Great comment, sir. Shout out to my boy DJ. Raw Truth Meet in the building says salute Hoop, and salute back, bro. I appreciate you. Y'all go sub to my man channel, man. He's actually DJ. I'm gonna put DJ back up. He actually a person that brought me to YouTube, man. He brought me in, so he always get priority over here. All right, so let's finish this up, and then I see you E Black in the wings. I'm gonna bring you up, and then let's talk about it.
Or change our take on how we remember this series. I think we're gonna think, oh, you know what? It's the Splash Brothers and the emergence of Jordan Poole. Do you think that even tomorrow, once we look at it, like, oh, this was the Warriors' defensive championship?
No, they won't, because people talking narratives like Nick Wright bum ass does. You know what? I mean, I'll be turned up today. This is the lowest day. This is Saturday. Nick Wright in his stat obsession cannot view things in that fashion. It's not sexy to say that the Warriors play great defense. The storyline is the Splash Brothers. Oh, Steph averaged 30. Oh, Poole came in and hit some big shots from half court off the glass. That's how people remember things. They remember things in poor fashion. So y'all remember, Jordan Poole did not have a stellar series. Inversely, he didn't have a stellar playoffs. His numbers went down every series, and his minutes went down too, which they should have, because he plays a very careless style of basketball. But nobody's going to remember like that. So, you know what? One thing I don't do is try to reverse engineer reality. I accept reality where reality exists. And people are going to gloss over the real story. People may not give Andrew Wiggins his flowers because Andrew Wiggins played his butt off on both sides of the basketball, man. He just did.
We thought that, you know, the Celtics were going to be able to score. They had so many scorers, and the Warriors basically had Steph. But 90, 94, 97, 88, this is a Warriors defense that I don't think you saw coming.
Listen, I'm sure you made some really good points there, but I also need some sunglasses right now because I'm
telling you, dog, Nick Wright cannot talk basketball. He uses shtick. He uses hyperbole to gloss over minutia. Minutia, by that I mean, when you really got to break the game down, he uses humor to gloss over it because he cannot talk on this level. He uses hyperbole to make light of the situation because he cannot address the actual talking points. So he's now going back to the glasses thing because that's something that he can't really break down. Y'all peep game with these dudes y'all watch on TV, man.
Blinded with such rage directed at Chris Broussard that I can't respond to that.
Now, he's good at it now. It makes for good TV. I won't be here. Not saying reality.
Thanks for watching.
All right, so we're done there. So let me bring up my guy, E-Black TV, man. E-Black, what's up, man?
Yo, what's good?
Man, nothing much, man. What you got for us? I know you're a Warrior fan, so go on talk your ish, man.
Man, you know, y'all doubted us. The whole league doubted us. We brought it home 4 times. Oh, just put your foes up, you know? Just put the foes up. That's all I'm saying.
So for those who don't know, E-Black, where you from?
I'm from Oakland, San Francisco, Bay Area. I cheer for nothing but the Bay Area teams. I don't care where I'm at in the country.
I'm with that. Man. The Bay is special, man. If y'all compare the Bay to LA, y'all don't know, like, it's a whole different mentality in the Bay. Where it's Valero, San Jose, like you said, San Francisco, Oakland. Like, it's just they on some other stuff. They just y'all on some other stuff. You know my favorite video is the whistle go woo woo. You remember that?
Yeah.
Well, I love the Bay, man. Prime Time says, I'm glad I found your channel, bro. Congratulations, been better than Ticket TV show. See, I listen, man. I'm gonna stay out of that one. He said, you might need to go teach him something new about basketball. Well, you know, I'm here to teach everybody something about basketball because I played. Again, I ain't saying I'm an NBA player. I wasn't. But when I talk basketball, I listen to guys who played either coached or played higher than me. And when they talk, I listen. So when I come to another conversation, I know what I'm talking about. Not saying I'm error-free, not saying I'm 100% accurate, but it's from a perspective that is laced in knowledge. It is not saying I can't be biased at times, but I really try to give it to you in a raw fashion that is straight up, that's succinct. One more comment. Chris Burton says, people from the Bay, only real Warrior fans. What you guys say about that, about these worldwide Warrior fans, bro?
You know, we're right now, we trying to flood. We're forgiving all you fake Warrior fans, even in the Bay. We forgiving you guys because we know you AI fans. We know y'all Kobe fans. We know y'all LeBron fans. But we trying to flood the whole continent. I mean continent with gold. And there's enough room on the bandwagon. Trust me. We had so many empty seats. We trying to make up for lost time.
There you go. Well, let me ask you this. What is your insight about y'all's future, man? Because I'm gonna ask a loaded question. Because as I said in my video, in December of 2020, I said the Warriors are gonna be good for the next 3 to 5 years. Do you agree with that statement?
Yes, I definitely agree. We drafted really well. If you really look at our G League team, we have one of the few G League teams that actually win championships.
Interesting. I ain't been keeping up with it. I ain't gonna lie, but okay. All right. I accept that.
You have to check out the Santa Clara team.
Okay.
Trust me. They're actually a very competitive G League team. Not only that, once again, we've drafted really well. People forget that Moody came off the bench, I think, in the previous series and dropped like 17 with threes. You know, we tried to piece in together different pieces, but you can see the future of the Warriors is definitely the bench. Even like Steph Curry can play 30 minutes a game, I'm sorry. But he can play 30 minutes. He doesn't have to play the full 48 and for us to win.
So let me ask you this. So that interest, I didn't even think about that. So Steve Kerr is off the Popovich tree. Popovich with his brilliance was later in the careers of Tim Duncan, Manu, and Parker's career, he condensed their minutes down to about 26, 27 minutes. And they still was able to eke out 2 more championships. Do you think that's going to go on with the Warriors? Because they're getting a little long in the tooth. Now, they're not extremely long in the tooth, but that's a very interesting premise you just introduced. Do you think that you're going to see more of that, the minutes reduction and the build-up of the bench? Okay.
Oh, definitely. If you really look at the series in general, you can see the special connection between Draymond and even Clay, even as bad of a season or less stellar season that he had, you can see that there is a golden opportunity to capitalize on that. Yet let the young brothers run. Yet let the young players run it out. But when it comes down to it, we have a way of playing basketball that is greater and superior to others. And I'm glad you mentioned San Antonio because it is fact. No matter what it came down to, it was still all the Tony Parker, Ginobili, Tim Duncan show.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of how it's mitigating mistakes, playing within the offense. And that's why I think we're gonna go further with players like Kuminga, Moody, Wiseman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's gonna be hard to pay them, but from my understanding, the ownership is willing to deep into that bag for the next 5 years. So who knows what's going to happen, but definitely we're going to be competitive for that longer time, barring injury.
Barring injury. Fair enough. Fair enough. And I mentioned that this is the first clean sweep y'all had with no injury. So, yeah. Also, man, we got Kid Styles in the building, man. Kid, what you got for us, bro?
In the clock.
You there, bro?
My bad. My bad, Hoop.
Yeah, go for it, man. What's
Sorry
up,
about
man?
that.
Speak your mind.
Yeah, man. My bro's not here today. You know, being Kid, which is I'm one half of the show.
That's all good.
I've been a Warriors fan since Monte Ellis days. I mean, I'm a Kobe fan like you. Kobe's my favorite player all the time. But I was watching the Warriors when I was watching Steph when he was in Davidson. So I've been here. I remember when they said that he couldn't play in the league and he shouldn't be drafted the way he should have been drafted. Because I remember it vividly because that's when I was in the hospital after I had suffered my accident. That 2009 era is very vivid in my mind. So I've been around like from the beginning. But I just find with the Warriors and Steph in general, they go out. It seems like people go out of their way to disrespect them. Like even when they give him props, it's always like a backhanded compliment. You know, it's always a caveat to what they're saying. You know, he's little Steph.
And not to cut you off, I want you to keep cooking. It seems like, to your point, that it's almost like they expect everything they do is like they expect to do it. It's like there's no margin of difficulty. It's like, oh well, y'all supposed to win like that. You got the greatest shooter. You got this and this. Like, no, that's not how basketball is. You actually got to play the games. But go ahead, Kid.
But at the same time, they say that, but then they say that, I don't know, that he shouldn't get the respect that he deserves. The team shouldn't get the respect they deserve. There's always these caveats. This player went down and this team wasn't as good. But when we look at other superstars, we never do that. We never say Jordan, like whenever you hear Shannon and Skip go at it, Skip will just, I can't stand Skip. Skip will just nitpick every bad game he ever had and ignore everything that he did that was good. But when we talk about Jordan, he's been bounced for the playoffs. He's had 5 for 19 games. They act like when that's that legend thing that the old heads have. They act like Jordan averaged 45 for his career, never had a bad game ever. Like he never played poorly. He never had turnovers. He was infallible. He did nothing wrong. And it's annoying because whenever you look at others, like look at the teams that Jordan beat. Nobody ever says, oh, he just beat the Portland Trailblazers or he just beat the Jazz. They never say that. He beat who was in front of him. He won the championships. But when it comes to Steph, there's always a caveat. Oh, he had Kevin Durant. And this is my opinion. This is nobody else's opinion but mine. I believe right now Steph is better than Kevin. It was always up for debate, but now I think he cemented it with a championship. Because while Kevin is taller, he's more talented, he has more gifts. He's not a good leader. He doesn't make people around him better. He's a scorer. That's what he does. He can do other things, but Steph puts so much pressure on the defense, they have to pay attention to Steph. That's why KD averaged 35 when he was in the finals with him. Steph is so great at shooting that they just leave Kevin Durant wide open. I know I'm not the only one that saw that. There are moments when they were playing together that Kevin Durant was wide open. How is that possible? Because Steph puts so much pressure on the defense. They're triple teaming Steph at times. They're picking him up at full court, 3-4 guys trapping him. So I'm sorry, like he has more gifts, he's taller, but that's always the argument they use. Well, Kevin Durant 6'11". So
you know what?
He's more talented.
Let me say this.
Can I add something to that?
Go ahead, E-Black. Go ahead.
The one thing I think that people are underestimating is that this series, when the shot wasn't dropping, he drove to the rim really hard.
Yes, he did.
And that is one of the things that I think, like when you looked at Jason Tatum, you looked at the other superstars, even Kevin Durant at times. I mean, if the jumper's not working, you have to put the pressure on the defense and then be able to kick it out or have that extra dimension in yourself. And
Agreed.
I think people do not give Curry's inside game enough credit because he will terrorize you in this paint.
Agreed. And you know what? I think that's.
Can I say something really quick?
Go ahead.
Can I point out something really well? Like
you got it.
For those who are on the Kevin Durant bandwagon, I'm going to say so. This is a theory, not a theory, but when the playoffs started, you could argue going into it, Kevin Durant had a better team. Clay was just coming off injury. Steph was coming off injury. Draymond was coming off injury, and nobody thought Jordan Poole was going to do what he did. Right? Mm-hmm. KD had a healthy squad. Kyrie, while he wasn't there all year, he was there. He was fully healthy. and everybody was saying Brooklyn was going to be one of the contenders. Look at what Boston did to Kevin Durant and Kyrie versus what they did to Warriors. We beat them, but look, they got swept. So how can we say that he's better than Steph?
Let me interject real quick. Team dynamic is big. Kevin Durant, and I said this in my video 2 videos ago, that it's easier to guard a predictable offense. So when your offense does not move the ball around, you basically focus in on a player, 2 players, basically, Kyrie and KD. That's easier to guard than 5 guys where you have to account to where they are. Now, it sounds ridiculous because star power sounds like it's more, but it's actually not. It's easy to key in when you know the team dynamic, and that's why that was a detrimental part to what the Nets were doing, because even though they had more star power, quote unquote, it's a predictable offense, and you got a novice coach with Steve Nash. That's why I said Ime Udoka. I knew that the Celtics, Tatum, the caveat was Tatum. If Tatum played out his mind, then maybe they had a chance to win. But I just didn't see that with him being so young, because Ime Udoka, he's still learning to fly. So let's juxtapose that with Steve Nash. Nash, it may be a savvy point guard. He may be a guy that's going to be one of the top ones remembered, but he's still a rookie-esque coach. He doesn't know how positional stuff yet. And he's the same guy. He's the same guy who was coaching guys who said they really don't need a coach. So you got to understand that you're not moving the ball around organically. You're being predictable, a lot of isolation basketball. And that's why, in my opinion, Cleveland was so beatable by the Warriors, because LeBron playing iso ball and Kyrie playing iso ball was very predictable. So we got to factor those things in with the matchup as well, and not just the tit for tat, like, oh, well, they lost this team, they lost that team. Yeah, true. But when you have a real high defensive IQ, what Boston has, it's easy to guard a team with a very offensive low IQ with a lot of star power.
And also, Steve Nash comes from the D'Antoni tree, and D'Antoni has bad habits as a coach. He's not defensive minded. He doesn't adjust, and he always plays 7, which is Kevin Durant admitted in an interview with JJ Redick that when he's playing against Giannis, he was gassed by Game 7 because Steve Nash doesn't go into his bench. Whereas you look at the Warriors, we were going 9, 10, sometimes 10 people deep. We got a lot of guys who contributed to that final.
Facts. And so nobody looked out of place. I'll give you that. And nobody looked out of place either. Like you put in Looney, like, oh shit, Looney bum ass. Like you never felt that way with nobody you put in. And that's the team dynamic is different. But we got Chris Burton in for the first time. Chris, man, hop on the mic, man, and share your piece, bro.
Yeah, everything worked out with the Warriors exactly how we said it was going to happen. Nick, once again, he was just wrong. It was team basketball at its best again with the Warriors. Just
no, go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry to cut you off, bro. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, Wiggins played out his mind.
Yes, he did.
And I think with Wiggins, like I tell people, there was something about Wiggins, how he finally playing. I said, no, he's just in a great situation. When he was in Minnesota, let's be real, Minnesota is that organization is just garbage for so many
horrible
years.
Franchise.
Yep.
Yeah, we saw that with Kevin Garnett all those years. Versus when you get to Warriors, the Warriors say, no, we win the championship. Well, you got no choice but to step your game up.
Yeah. You step up and get rolled over.
Yo,
go ahead.
Do any of y'all watch Gilbert Arenas and Fubo Sports? Because I was just watching him, Matt Barnes, and Tracy McGrady basically talk about the game, the championship, and whatnot. And Gilbert has said this on many occasions that a lot of franchises going back to when he played, they don't really do enough to make this player succeed. Like they don't work on their nutrition. They don't get the guys on staff with medical, working them out, stretching them out. You know, when you look at the Warriors organization, he was talking about how they handle everything. Food, training, they develop their players, they take care of the families. They do everything in their power to make sure that all the players have to do is focus on is winning and playing the game.
Interesting.
And when you look at that culture versus a lot of NBA coaches, a lot of owners and franchises, all they care about is ticket sales. They don't really give a fuck. They're not really trying to win. They can care less.
And that's why they won a championship.
How one like the Kings is being ran and the Timberwolves being ran versus how the Warriors are being ran.
That's why I always say you could be the best player on earth, but if your organization is garbage, it don't matter. LeBron and Cleveland should have told you everything all those years, and they just didn't put the right team around them. But with the Warriors, you know, they don't. Steph Curry don't have to say nothing to Bob Myers. You know, Bob gonna do it. He gonna have everything.
Well, I'm gonna give you a
They
little
gonna get
pushback
the
on that.
pieces.
I'm gonna give you a little
Yeah.
pushback on that. Now, the difference is
Go
LeBron
ahead.
demands those rosters, and he demands to play basketball one way. He doesn't. So, as Kid was just talking about, with Steph making guys better, sometimes you make guys better by letting them be themselves. When you play under LeBron, you got to play his way, which is a short corner big who catches and rim runs.
That's true.
You got to be a corner 3-point specialist or just a floater guy. So he dictates the term, and I'm okay with that. Like if it works for you, it works for you. But you can't put your hands up when that style don't work for you, because that's the only way you know how to play basketball. We've seen Steph reinvent himself a few times. So we gotta accept that part of the equation as well.
Yeah, Steph know how to get out of the way too. When KD got there, he said, "He go the keys. Do your thing."
Absolutely.
I'll be right here. Do your thing.
Absolutely.
But the thing that the thing that people miss is what you say, Hoop. Like they could have, with that roster, they still could have lost, even with KD being there. But the way Steve Kerr has the offense flowing, the way Steph moves, and the way Steph makes everybody better. Steph never stops moving. Like look at what he did in the finals. You got two plays that stick out of my mind. Was when he was running with the ball, they were on him. They were on him, triple teaming him, whatever. So he gets rid of the ball, he just takes off. He gives the ball ends up with Gary Payton. He runs behind Gary Payton. Gary Payton sets 2 screens, he hits the 3. He did the same thing with Draymond Green. He gives Draymond the ball, runs around, gets behind Draymond, he hits an open 3. Those little things that he does, him and Clay, the way they move the ball and move without the ball, they're always putting pressure on defenses. Whereas you said, people like KD and LeBron, they play in offenses that are predictable. You could argue Giannis as well. At one point, to this day, he powered his way through it. He alphaed his way through it. But Giannis is very predictable. You know he's going to come from the top of the key and try to rush you down.
Yep.
That's what he does. He's not really – I like Giannis, but he doesn't have a high IQ when it comes to basketball. He's just relying on his physical gifts. Nothing wrong with that. It works. He's got a ring. But a lot of times he's just charging. He's improving his game. He's improving his jump shot. But he gets the ball high key, inefficient from, because you're not supposed to get the ball as big from so far from the paint. He'd be better served to go into the paint. He doesn't really have a turnaround game. He doesn't really have a post game. And he just tries to bum. That's why he gets so many offensive fouls, because he's just bum rushing people.
I used to play with a guy who used to be like Giannis. 2 steps from the top of the key, you're at the front of the rim. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to play like that because it puts so much pressure on the 2. The 2 either has to be able to shoot, spot up, and be able to drive and kick, and be a sub point guard. And that's why Middleton is so important to their team. Mm-hmm. Without a guy like Middleton, I don't really think the Bucks are as good as they are, because he does so much versatility on that team. It makes them a higher team. Then you add a person like Drew Holiday. Yeah. But I agree with you. The Milwaukee Bucks are literally leaning on athleticism, and that's not going to work for too long. 2022, 23, 24, 25.
Like for my anime fans, right? For anybody who watches anime, Giannis is like Broly. He's just there to do one thing. Bum rushing. Kind of like how Shaq was. But see, the difference between him and Shaq was going to the paint. Shaq understood what he did. He understood what he was designed to do, right? So what he did was, I'm going to get a high percentage shot by getting into the paint. Mm-hmm. By the time I'm already down there, they can't stop. Now, don't get me wrong. In the open court, you can't stop Giannis like you couldn't stop Shaq. But a lot of teams, especially teams that are like when he went against the Raptors, Kawhi, and this year when he gets Boston, if they know how to stop that, now it's 1-on-5. So one of the things I like to see Giannis do going forward is please God, the post game is a lost art, but it's such a powerful. I don't understand why more big men don't do it. It's so good, but they won't do it because everybody's trying to shoot threes and look. Everybody can't be cute, bro. Sometimes you gotta be dirty and get into that paint. But go and develop.
Joel Embiid.
Failing that, try to start your offense from within inside the key earlier. Like you need to be going to the basket as fast as possible. Just imagine how many points these guys would have if they were always going to the paint. Just always running there, but they're always starting at the 3-point line. It's weird.
Well, you know what it is, man. Like you say, it don't look sexy, and You know what? The players I like do the little stuff. You know, the player I like too is Duncan Robinson, man. Was it? Yeah, is it Duncan Robinson or was it? I think it was Duncan Robinson. Tyler Hero.
Tyler Hero?
They was running around the screen. No, it's Duncan Robinson.
So Duncan Robinson got benched.
This dude had
Okay.
he had like a sequence where he was running off the ball like the whole possession, and somebody recorded just the part of him running off the ball. Like he kept trying to find an open spot, just running, working open. Finally, at the end of the shot clock, he got open in the corner, shot at 3 bottoms. And the average fan would have been watching the guy with the basketball. Because people like that attention. And to me, it was just, it was beautiful that somebody caught the after work, the stuff you do to get the ball when you're not necessarily gifted to be an on-ball, player or what have you. I look at those kind of things when I admire players. And when I put players in that pantheon of like one of the best, what do you do outside of the glory moments? Are you out there are you out there making people work? Are you out there playing defense, like not leading the league in steals, but are you bodying people up when they are crossing across the paint? Are you getting a chest into them? Are you getting a shoulder into them? Are you chipping dudes? And offensively, like guys like Gary Payton too, like that sequence you talked about when he caught the ball on the perimeter, but he didn't shoot it, and he gave Steph a dribble handoff when he came off his butt, and Steph shot the 3 instead of him when he could have easily shot himself. That's an IQ play. What do you do in situations like that save your team's possessions in meaningful ball games? Those are the kind of things I look at, and most people don't. And it's because again, it's not sexy. Like nobody's going to talk about the time that Gary Payton passed up a wide open 3 to give it to Steph. He's just like, oh, well, what you supposed to is Steph. Like, no, what he did was he understood that at that part of the game, they needed a guy who was on fire. So I'm not going to be selfish and take this 3 because I'm open. I'm going to give it to the guy with the higher percentage who is our leader of our team. And those things are heady. And so I look at stuff like that personally, and I admire guys who do those type of things because those are the kind of things that don't show up in the box score. And go and throw the mid-range in there too.
If I may also, this narrative that Steph is a liability on defense, that has to go away. Because there were moments where Steph was actually bodying up Jason Tatum. And Jason Tatum
Thank you.
I was watching it. I mean, he was snatching the ball from Tatum, snatching it from Horford. I mean, they were bodying. Horford should have been eating off Steph as many times as they switched on him. He didn't. Because Steph, he's gained weight, he's put on muscle, and he's not this defensive line. It's not, they act like Steph's getting posterized every time they give him the ball. That is not the case. I was watching closely in these finals and these playoffs. There were guys who were trying to take advantage of Steph, and they couldn't. What was the stat line for the last game? 3 for 25 or something like that. Whenever Steph was guarding somebody, like, come on now. It's really perception becomes reality with these conversations, bro. Because everybody talking about how small this and all, he can't do this. It's really the light skin thing. I'll get into that later. But Allen Iverson was 6'1", 160 pounds. Nobody ever says he was small.
I do.
Nobody ever goes to AI. I love AI. But
I do. AI was a horrible defender.
Though. Like nobody goes at AI for being a defensive liability when in actuality he was, because he was small. He couldn't help.
Terrible.
Was so heavy.
Terrible
was
defender.
so tall.
He had to change the whole dynamic of the team.
Steph was like what 6'3", 2. Yeah.
But AI had to have Eric Snow start the point guard because he was too small and did not want to play point guard. So Eric Snow had to essentially guard the 2 guards, which messed the team dynamic up. And that's the AI thing. Yeah, so I'm with you on that. Nobody really likes to call that out. I've called out since I was 16 years old. I was like, AI can't play defense, and he's the reason why they losing. He's the reason why they winning. Now, don't get it twisted. But he also the reason why they losing because the team dynamic's so jacked up.
Well, he didn't. Who did he play with? What Hall of Famer did Iverson play with? I mean, come on. He was playing. I mean, come on.
It doesn't matter though.
But team. You know what I mean? He didn't really have a guy to give him that extra offensive. I hear what you're saying defensively, but who else is going to help him score? Because the objective of the game, you still got to put the ball in the hoop, no matter how good you have defense.
Hold on, but you got to know who you're talking to. I led in with that with my diatribe that it's not about gaudy stats; it's about team dynamic. I led in with that when I made this stream 2 weeks ago when I started this series. So when you share the ball properly, you don't have to have another big score like Golden State. Nobody really stepped up and gave 20-plus points this series. And like Nick Wright was saying, somebody got to step up and score 20-plus. Nobody did, and they won a championship handedly, right? So you don't necessarily have to do that. But he played with Larry Hughes. He played with Dikembe Mutombo, who Mutombo had a great career 10 years after AI experience. We went to Houston. He still was highly productive. So we can't play that game.
Okay,
he didn't have another marquee guy. I'll meet you there. That's true. But with AI, the problem was he's a one-man show. So who else can go off? Who else can go off? That would be my contention.
And you're saying that even if they did, he wouldn't be able to share the ball or share the glory.
No, because when he got moved to Detroit, he couldn't do it. When he got moved to the Nuggets, he couldn't do it. No.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he showed that he could basically, I'll put it this way. When they lost Chauncey Billups, they still need another dynamic point guard to step in. And they still had damn near the whole team intact with the Pistons. AI came in, that shit fell apart. Because he cannot be a point guard and share the rock. He can only play one way, which is the AI way, the little big man way. He can't step back and do, because, I mean, let me put it this way. This is what Westbrook is struggling with right now. Less is more. And sometimes less being more. When we said what Curry can do, Curry is smart enough and talented enough to do less is more. And that's why he wins, because he is a very cerebral player. Some of these guys don't have that. They cerebral with the ball in their hand, but other than that, no, they're not. They just can't. And that's why they don't reach the heights.
You're saying that Westbrook and AI don't have high basketball IQ?
Outside of on-ball IQ, no, I don't. No. And their career shown it. To play off ball, neither one can do it. That takes a lot of IQ.
That's what separates Kobe
somebody who it's not only that he doesn't have a high IQ, he's stubborn and doesn't want to listen to anybody.
That too. I'll meet you there.
He strikes me as a type that like Andrew Bynum. I remember this. I'll never forget this. Andrew Bynum, or was it Dwight Howard? One of them told Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one of the, if not arguably the greatest big men of all time, there's nothing else I can learn from you. What?
Yeah.
Nick, do you look at what you do on the floor? You're not even close to what these guys do.
That's fair.
And Westbrook strikes me as that type of guy who you could have a Hall of Famer, all-time great come in, try to coach when he wouldn't want to listen. A good analogy is Deontay Wilder. He hired a coach to help him improve his boxing skills, but didn't listen to anything he said. Nigga, then how you going to improve?
That's fair. That's fair. I can't argue that. Yeah, it's stubbornness and it is lack of IQ. And I'll give you another guy, James Harden. James Harden has very poor basketball IQ outside the ball in his hand. Defensively, all three share the same three categories. Poor defensive IQ.
I was just about to say it.
I ain't saying KD now. KD can play off ball and he can play defense. KD just relies on his gifts a little too heavily. He relies on his own gifts too heavily, which is at his detriment at times. I will agree there. But KD can't play defense and KD can't play off ball. He's shown both of those. But AI, Harden, Westbrook, same three problems.
And how many championships those three got?
Zero. Zorro. Just saying, fellas.
That's my high school history teacher used to say.
Zorro.
When we used to flunk, he would say zero. Now you ain't got a zero, you got a Zorro.
I like it. I used to be a teacher, so I like it when we can make stuff funny for the kids. What you got, Chris?
You just saw everything you just explained is exactly why zero. Those are supposed to be when you got these guys, these supposed to be the leaders of the team.
Yeah.
That's not a leader.
It's rough.
That's my argument with what this guy is saying right here, Swift Life Media, that KD will always be better than Steph. But I think what people fall in love with are the natural gifts. Talent-wise, he's better. He's taller. You can't teach height. He has just more physical gifts. But as a leader, as a floor general, as somebody who can move the offense, put pressure on defense, he is not better than Steph. And it shows.
Yeah. Which is why the Warriors was the best.
Look at the results.
I will say this. What's that guy? The ginger that plays that they picked up? Blake Griffin.
Okay.
He has to also step up. He has to also step up his role. He's trying to play the Draymond Green role, but he also wants to shoot, and he doesn't have the ability. I don't know. Do y'all think Blake Griffin is a better shooter than Draymond?
Yes, but he's done though.
Yeah,
bro, you about 10
his
years too late on
knees.
Blake Griffin.
Yeah,
But I'm just
his knees.
y'all understand what I'm
the
saying.
damage is done now.
For,
I understand what you're saying. Clippers Blake is gone.
He done, bro. He done.
but even still, even the new revitalized like stretch for Blake that we're getting now, it still comes down to a person who's selfless. I don't think Blake is going to be selfless enough to be and mentally tough. Let's be honest. You know,
I'm about to say he ain't got that dog.
Yeah, he's
have
that
shown
dog.
several times in his career that you can punk him down. He's shown that if you just bully up on him a little bit, he shrinks. He ain't like Draymond. Draymond ain't gonna do that.
Crying to the ref. Look, Draymond will cry to the ref. I agree with that, but he will get back on D. Pause. And
oh man, that's funny.
But you know what I mean? That's what it's about. That's why it's so hard to get to an NBA championship, because you need special players to do what they're exactly there to do. And I think that's why I say the Warriors will always go back and have the potential, because everybody understands with the core group what we're trying to do. Yeah, we're gonna run off strings with Clay and Steph, but the Draymond can fake handoff and dunk it 2 hands straight down the middle if he wants to. Not only that, we're gonna bring somebody off the bench who's cool, who's fine with the corner 3. He gonna play that D too, you know. So, that's why it's so hard for, I think, a person like KD to win a championship unless he joins a championship mentality team. Not a friend.
And that's why I believe. Oh, go ahead. My bad. I thought you were finished.
No. I'm done with that.
I was just going to ask. I mean, to go. I'm looking at Switch Life Media's comments, and I understand where he's coming from, but I still think overall Steph is a better player. It's like when I input in player, I'm inputting everything: passing, stats, rebounding, pressure on defense, leadership, how well the offense flows through you. Kevin Durant is more gifted. Undeniably, he's more gifted. But when it comes to how the team flows, how much pressure he puts on the defense, he just proved it. I mean, granted, the coaching comes into play, the style of offense comes into play, but even with the way Steve Nash was coaching, Kevin Durant could have made better decisions against the Celtics this year. I mean, at a certain point, it just came down to he was just getting bullied. And they talked about how Steph gets bullied. Well, Steph's bustled up this year, these last few years. They tried to bully Steph, and it didn't work. The game that he shot no threes, he moved 0 for 9. He still kept moving out the ball. He had 8 assists. Still had 8 assists. Was still getting to the basket. He was doing other things when they tried to stop him from doing what he does best, where they tried to muscle up on him, triple team him, and they did the same thing to him that they did to Kevin Durant. And what did Steph do? How did he respond?
Well, let me say this though.
KD just crumbled.
When you have the benefit of a organic offense, you have the benefit to be able to shoot that poorly and still win, which I don't take away from it. I love organic basketball. Like, to me, that's how you win at this game that we love, which is called NBA basketball. But one guy has that luxury, the other one doesn't, which I'm not even begrudging Steph for that. I mean, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, because also lack of ego is the reason why you can maintain it. So I give him credit. I just like to explain why the dynamics are the way they are, because with that top heavy team.
But could they? Well, I want to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Do you think I think the reason why they don't have that is because, like you just said, ego. Kyrie Irving is not going to play that role. Kevin Durant's not going to play that role. But it's not like they lack the ability to do it. That team wasn't that top heavy. They have guys on that team who could play. There were guys who were talented on that bench who could play. Maybe they're not all-star level, but they can play. So it comes down to how you individually and coaching-wise make decisions. And the coach didn't make good decisions, Steve Nash, and there were times that KD and Kyrie did not make good decisions.
I agree.
Even with the offense, you can come to the coach and be like, Coach, I don't think this is working. What can we do that's different? You think KD and Kyrie are doing that? That's on KD and Kyrie at that point.
I agree with that. I'm not dismissing it at all. I'm just saying that with team dynamic, he is afforded the ability to do that, and he's smart enough to take advantage of it, which he gets a lot of respect from me because he has a lot of self-awareness. Something I've always given Steph Curry credit for, is having high self-awareness, which is very, very it is incumbent upon a person to win in this league. Your self-awareness has to be high. And again, I hate to keep picking on Westbrook. We talk about poor self-awareness. You remember the stream that me and your brother did, talking about the king has no emperor with no clothes. His self-awareness is just super low, and he gets the results he gets. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You get the results you get. Because even this year, when Lakers started out slow, and he would start out extremely slow, and they asked him about it, he was like, "Well, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Win or lose ain't on me. I'm just poor self-awareness, bro." And then when it finally came to a head, when people was talking shit to him at games and calling him Westbrick, then he act like he was just blinded by this. Like, bro, people have been on your ass. You just have poor self-awareness. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's the difference between a guy.
Would you say that? I mean to cut you off. Would you say Donovan Mitchell's like that too?
Hell yeah.
Donovan Mitchell gives me that vibe too.
Very poor self-awareness.
He seems that he's stubborn and he's not open. He's not open to criticism, whether it's positive or negative. He seems to me that he has a way he wants to play. He's gonna play that way. He's gonna be stubborn, and I just feel like he's gonna have a frustrating career because, like, there's no way they sign Gobert all that money, bro. If I'm on that team, like, look, man, we need to get some other guys on this team.
Yeah,
I'll take a cut. I'll take a pay cut. Let's do something different. But to me, he seems like he's got to be the man. He's a sore loser, and he's stubborn in the way he approaches the game. And I like Donovan Mitchell, but it's frustrating to watch him. It is.
Agree. I mean, a lot of these dudes have
frustrating
egos, man. One of the biggest things of what great coaches do is they maintain egos. That's why, like, to me, Phil Jackson was not a great X and O coach, man. I don't care what nobody say. He just wasn't. But what Phil Jackson was really good at is understanding the temperament of his guys and giving the right player enough slack, the right player enough flack, and making it all work out. And making his team work out. And I let it in the beginning of the stream. Steve Kerr made a great substitution taking Jordan Poole out in the second quarter of Game 6, which he didn't do in Game 1. It cost him Game 1. Phil Jackson just was like, "Yo, hey, I'm gonna leave you out there. I ain't calling no timeout. Y'all figure that shit out." But he did the front work though.
He would do that.
He molded people's minds to understand how big the situation is. I know what this guy's gonna give. Like when he let Rodman go out to Vegas and go get his fuckery out for the weekend. He knew how to maintain guys, to bring them in and to put them out there and let them do it. Everybody can't do that because that's a lot of front loading. So those things play into the effect too. And so go ahead, man.
I was gonna say another thing. Steve Kerr's made decisions sometimes that have been questionable. Like, what is he doing? I think there have been moments where he has cost his games, but I think that just comes with his intellect. When you have a guy that's like that, he's gonna make off the wall calls sometimes that are questionable to you, but you're not seeing it from his perspective. I think sometimes when he looks at the game, he has kind of a genius mind when it comes to the way he looks at the game. But something you mentioned, he comes from the Popovich tree and how Pop throughout the years, as his stars age, he would play them less minutes. He's done that a lot with Steph. There are moments Steph don't come off the bench in the second half until like the 5-6 minutes in the third or fourth. We're like, why is Steph not out there? He would be yelling at the screen during the stream, yelling at the TV, like, why is he not on the bench? We're down by 8. What are you doing? But in Game 6, Steph comes out before he's fresh. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are gassed. Horford is gassed. Steph coming out fresh, and what did he do? He had 13 in the fourth. So yeah, there's a lot that people they just look at, for example, my brothers was talking to somebody in his personal life, and they were having a basketball talk, right? And they were like, "Man, I don't like this dude." Was like, "I don't like Steph Curry." My brother was like, "Okay, why?" Because he light skinned. What?
Bro,
I've heard crazy. Oh, they shoot threes. They ain't got no heart. He ain't from the street. You remember that conversation we had about Westbrook? About that niggas are addicted to? That he gotta be a nigga. Like, bro, why?
Yikes. People do say dumb shit like that. They want to be taken serious in sports conversations. Yeah, man, we got breaking news here, man. Kenny Atkinson, shout out to J-Boy with the breaking news, and I went to confirm it. Kenny Atkinson, who formerly took the job at the Charlotte Hornets, has backed out. He is staying with the Golden State Warriors. Wow.
He's trying to get some more rings.
Wow.
He's trying to get some rings.
Sources. So this is on ESPN, so you know it's real. Kenny Atkinson decided.
That's the ultimate source.
Huh?
That's the ultimate source.
Bro, it's a Woj bomb right here. So Kenny Atkinson has decided he won't become the Charlotte Hornets head coach. Instead, he will remain with the Golden State Warriors as the top assistant. Sources told ESPN's Woj. Atkinson was off the job during the NBA Finals after further conversations. Atkinson led to believe it best remain with the Warriors. Makes me wonder, was Steve Kerr be there too much longer? The the Hornets had narrowed the search down to Atkinson, Mike D'Antoni, and Terry Stotts, other finalists, to replace James Borrego. Yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. Interesting.
Well, that shows you.
Why do you say that? Why do you say we'll Kirby there for much longer?
No, that shows you the culture. Sometimes people will accept the job as long as you're appreciated. As long as you're able to do what you want to do. There's been plenty of times in which I could have accepted more money doing the exact same job I'm doing now, but I knew what the job and functionality at my current job is bringing me. That type of stuff you can't pass up. And it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to work with some of the best players, some of the best management in the league. Lakers, take a hint.
Shots fired.
Well, I will say this. This is actually bad. This is actually bad for LaMelo Ball because I believe that guy, Atkinson, is taking that culture to Charlotte because I like the Ball family. I think that would have been good for LaMelo Ball's career. That's actually unfortunate for him, actually. Good for Atkinson, but I think he would have been able to kind of steer him into the right direction because he is in danger of falling into that Westbrookian trap. Maybe not like talent-wise, but he can fall into that. I'm gonna do it my way. I did it my way. I'm gonna do it. You know, I'm alpha my way through it. He can't fall into that trap where he's not being self-aware. He's being egotistical, and he's not looking past his own pride and his own hubris, and he's not becoming a player that he can potentially become.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. Now, the Warriors' trend culture doesn't always matriculate to the next level because Luke Walton was off that tree, and Luke Walton came to my Lakers and did nothing with that Warriors culture. So it ain't always guaranteed. So I would say that.
Yeah, the Popovich. I mean, not Popovich. The what is his name? Football. Belichick. The Belichick tree. Yeah. Like
Josh McDaniels don't always work out. Your other boy, was it Flores? He's off the tree as well, right? The black dude, Brian Flores. Yeah,
Romeo Cornell.
Yeah, it don't always
Romeo Cornell.
Your boy, Weiss.
Weiss.
It don't always work out. But hey, gentlemen, man, I hate to end it here because I got to go to a wedding rehearsal. Man, y'all got to come on this next panel because I want to start doing this more, but I'm selective what I bring on here. If you come and talk to bullshit, I'm gonna boot you. And all y'all welcome to come back up here and we can chop it. Because I think it's important we have these discussions, respectful, and about stuff that that is very prevalent with sports and from getting real information, getting real talking points out, and not just up here cussing people out, talking stupid stuff, because it don't fly over here. So I want to thank all y'all being great panelists, man. I gotta say. Shout out to Sir Tyson in the building.
Hey, no problem.
What's up, Sir Tyson?
I'm the starting point guard for the blue pill, and
Oh my God! Here you go. I'm gonna get Sub-Zero on your ass.
Yeah, next time I come through, I'll try to see my brother. If he's not working, I'll try to. If you have a panel and we're here, we'll try to hop on because sometimes we can't do things together because he's working. But if he's not working, I'll try to bring him on and we'll chop it up because I want to do this more. I want to do like simultaneous streams with you because like I saw what they did to you last time. You tried to escape the Matrix. Nah, they got you.
Damn.
They got you last time.
I mean, it'd be like this sometimes. Yeah. It'd be like that.
I was thinking about doing who jogging show in the game. I was about to do it, and I said, "Oh man, maybe not."
Boy, the boys blacked me out, man. What's funny though? On Facebook, it still was going. I had like a ton of people on Facebook. And I told them, man, if y'all ain't cash out, I'm shutting this shit down. I shut it down on their ass. But if y'all want to get some followers on Facebook, stream a game, not the legal way, and people will watch. I just free game. YouTube will shut it down, but Facebook will keep it going. Free game. But shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to Cuba and Sports holding it down. Shout out to the breaking news from J-Boy. Appreciate that. And my unofficial co-host, Sir Tyson. Shout out to you too, man. You came in a little late, but yeah, man, we had a good discussion, man. So if you want to rewind on the replay, y'all do that. Thank y'all panelists. Thank y'all everybody. I gotta go make some moves. E-Black, I'm gonna hit you. So we can link up next time.
I'm about to pull up.
All right, bro. Thank y'all so much. And let's see who gonna take us out today. Let's have LeVar take us home. Thank y'all, man. We out. Peace.
Shout out to Hoop Sharky, man. I'm gonna add to the crew, man. This crew called Hoop Sharky. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Jargon. Man, I'm here with my man with Hoop Jargon, the best in the game, man. And I only live selected few in my circle. And this is the real dude right here. We gonna get down with the get